What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. Guys, the Indianapolis Colts and every other team in the NFL today had roster cuts. So, of course, we have to talk about it. Give me 1 second here, making sure that this is on here. And again, this stream is sponsored by FanDuel. Guys, football is practically in full swing now. College football starts up this weekend. A lot of great games. So if you guys are avid on college football, take advantage of FanDuel there as well. But of course, the NFL season starting in just over 1 week. So take advantage of all these great deals. And of course, be sure to check out FanDuel today. Cody, I mean, we're a week now, almost a week from the first NFL game of the regular season. How you doing, man?
I mean, I'm ready for it to be back. Like you said, just finishing preseason and just finishing all of the kind of meaningless games so far. So it'll be good. Like you said, college football back this weekend and then NFL action the following weekend. So I'm really excited about that, man, just to finally get back into the swing of things, get some answers to the questions we've been talking about all off season for the Colts and obviously a lot of other teams as well. So I'm just ready to get things in full motion, man. And certainly with this roster cuts today, we get a little bit more of a clear picture on how the Colts want to attack certain position groups. So I'm excited, man, just to dive in today, and definitely some moves that came as a surprise today, to be honest with you. There's a few that did, a few that didn't, but yeah, I'm excited to dive in today, man, and talk about it.
Definitely. We'll break down each position and see where we go from here. We'll go ahead and start with the quarterbacks. One of the more least surprising situations here, Cody. Your 3 quarterbacks. And I just want to make sure also for anyone that is seeing this post on social media, these are not the actual depth charts. These are just the names in alphabetical order, not based on anything else. Super Pony with the $2 super chat. I feel good about our secondary, but we need a linebacker. Well, we'll definitely talk about that here in a minute, Super Pony, but thank you for the super chat, by the way. 3 quarterbacks, as we expected. Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, and, of course, Riley Leonard. Really no surprise there, right, Cody?
No surprises there. I mean, that's kind of what we expected after we saw Riley Leonard do what he did against the Bengals, right? We were like, yep. I mean, I think we can pretty confidently say at this point, Riley Leonard is that guy, right? Like, he's quarterback 3. He's kind of that Sam Ehlinger-esque role, right? That Ehlinger's had since he got drafted in 2022. He's kind of that third emergency quarterback if you need him. But yeah, so I wasn't shocked at all to see that. That was probably, honestly, out of all the positions, probably the least surprising one. Like, it was pretty cut and dry, like we said. So yeah, that was not too shocking at all.
Yeah, Bruce bringing it up. Word has it, cornerback Mike Hilton visiting Indy. Yes, that definitely is happening. We're actually about to upload a video on that just in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, that definitely is news. Keep an eye out for that. And we'll talk about the cornerback room here in a little bit.
Yep.
But let's move over to the running backs, Cody. And this is where things get a little interesting. Only 3 running backs on the roster. Jonathan Taylor, DJ Giddens, and Tyler Goodson. Now, that tells me 2 things here, Cody. One is it's good to see Tyler Goodson's name on here because that means he will not start the season on the IR, which is a good thing to see because I thought that we would have that issue going into this and wondered if that was going to be something that we would have to worry about. But Goodson's still there. But that means a couple of waivers here and some releases.
Oh, guys, yeah.
One is Ulysses Bentley, which I don't think is quite a surprise, but the surprise to a lot of people, Khalil Herbert being off of this list. Now, obviously, Khalil Herbert dealing with an injury, so that also didn't help in this decision to go forward. I mean, are you surprised, Cody, that they only kept these 3?
I was a little bit surprised. I thought they would keep 4. I mean, that's what we did in our final 53 man, right? I thought that they would keep 4. But honestly, Derek, I know Khalil Herbert had that injury, right? So maybe they just felt like, hey, right now we're just not we're maybe they're still looking for another running back. I could see that potentially be something there. Or like I said, probably have like Ulysses Bentley back. Who knows? Maybe Khalil Herbert can be on your practice squad. I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know if he's eligible. I actually don't know anything about that. But needless to say, you have some options there that you could, call up if needed, right? So I guess I was a little bit surprised, but you know what? We know the top 3 now, and it looks like DJ Giddens and Tyler Goodson are both going to have very big roles this year. And Goodson was the guy we didn't know if he was going to have a real big role in this team. But man, I tell you what, when Goodson was out there, he was RB2 for a while. So I love to see that Tyler Goodson is rising to the occasion there, right? So a little bit surprised, but good to see, like you said, that it seems like that Tyler Goodson, barring anything crazy, it seems like that Tyler Goodson injury is not going to bleed into the regular season, which is huge.
Yeah, and obviously Giddens in the games that we've seen, Giddens has really shown some really good things that I definitely look forward to seeing what his role is going into this. Again, guys, shout out. Be sure to like the stream, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Channel support has been great. We greatly appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us. Okay, let's go to the wide receivers. Again, another group that Cody, you and I called it exactly. We weren't surprised by this group. You got Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Adonai Mitchell, Anthony Gould, and Ashton Doolin. Now, again, I know everybody's saying it. Oh, we really liked Laquan Treadwell. Oh, we really liked Coleman Owen and all these other guys. But, I mean, ultimately, we kind of knew where this was going. They were doing really well against third stringers and fourth stringers. Let's be honest, guys. So, I mean, again, another position group we're not all that surprised about.
No, I felt like quarterback was pretty cut and dry. Wide receiver was pretty cut and dry. Like we knew the 6, right? And your 5 and 6, they can both play special teams. So that helps their case out a ton. Whereas I don't know if these other guys really do play special teams. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't too shocked at that. That was probably the least surprising outside of quarterback. That was probably the least surprising position group there. And it's funny, Derek, this is like the first time where I feel like you've had the same group of guys at wide receiver in a long time. Like you have your 6 again, the same 6 you went with last year. You have those 6 again, right? So, and I'm fine with that. I like all these guys. They're different skill sets that they offer, and obviously the prowess on special teams for Doolin and obviously Gould, who will be that primary return guy. So, no, nothing shocking there for me at all.
Blake Evans with a $5 super chat. What more can Treadwell do, though? He balls out when he gets the chance. I totally agree with you, Blake. Thank you for the $5 super chat, by the way. The only thing is, when it comes to Treadwell, is he better than your top 4? Are we going to sit here and suggest that he is a better wide receiver at this moment than Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, or even Adonai Mitchell? I highly doubt that. And then when you have wide receivers 5 and 6, those guys play special teams roles. And Laquan Treadwell, even though in the preseason games he has done a little bit with the special teams unit, it's just not been enough. If there are other teams out there that don't have as deep of a wide receiver room as the Colts do, then Laquan should try to find his way on there. I just think for this unit specifically, we're just too deep, Cody, to hold on to Laquan Treadwell for that reason.
Well, and there's a real possibility that both him and Coleman Owen, they come back, right, on the practice squad. Treadwell was on the practice squad all of last year, so it's not like he's gone necessarily. Like, he could come back, and then, say you have an injury to the wide receiver, you put him, you bring him up, like, pretty easily. So I don't think it's something where it's like, hey, he's never coming back, because like I said, he's been here for the last 2 years. So I think the Colts like him and they want to keep him around. And if you have a injury or two, like you can rely on Laquan Treadwell, but he's shown you in the preseason that if you need him to step into a role, he can do that, right? Like you said, he's played a little bit of special teams. So if you need him to do that, he can do that. So I'm not upset about it at all. I like both these guys. I like what Treadwell did. I like what Coleman did. But I think you can keep them around. I really do. I'm not saying
I would love to keep Treadwell around because you're right.
Yeah.
If you have any injuries anywhere, then Laquan's the first guy you're going to call up, and I like what he can do.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Another $5 super chat here. This one from Christopher Taylor. A little off topic, but Wentz went to Minnesota. How do you think Fries and Kelly reacted?
They probably don't even care.
There had to have been some flashbacks going on in their heads when that happened. Obviously,
first time Carson throws a left-handed pass. Yeah.
You know,
right. Well, Fries didn't even really play that year, to be honest. Like, he was a backup, right? He didn't start till 22, I believe. So, yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate that, Colts for life.
Appreciate that, Colts for life. Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
I think we are too opinionated, to be honest.
I hope that at some point the Indianapolis Colts, I certainly do hope the Indianapolis Colts or anyone in the NFL will look at us and say these are passionate guys and we would love to, have them do a couple different things, kind of like, what the Packers and, the NFL have been doing with Tom Grossi lately.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He's been getting a lot of awesome opportunities. Hopefully down the road, that's where we're headed. But, we're going to stick with the Indianapolis Colts for right now. And next, Cody, is the tight end room. Really no shocks here. The Colts did, in fact, only keep 4 tight ends. I suggested the idea they might keep 5. They don't. And they kept Warren, Cox, Mallory, and Ogletree. Yeah. So Will Mallory does make it into the group, and Jelani Woods is the unfortunate release here for the Indianapolis Colts. No doubt, Cody, that Jelani Woods will get picked up somewhere if, in fact, he doesn't end up on our practice squad. Because again, a guy with those kinds of attributes, the way that he is, his main problem, just not staying healthy. Right. That's been his only issue. Outside of that, he has the potential to be a good tight end anywhere else here in the NFL. Hopefully things work out for him. I don't think it's the end of his journey, but yeah, the Colts keeping with the 4 guys that they had. I want to ask you too, what do you see the people who talk about Mo Alie-Cox and how they're gobsmacked that Mo Alie-Cox is still on this roster? Can you please explain to Colts fans who struggle with that concept on why Mo Alie-Cox continues to remain on this roster?
Yeah, I would call Mo kind of a glue guy, to be honest with you. He's reliable, he's available, and he run blocks his tail off. That kind of stuff is important, right? Now, you're never going to rely on Mo Alie-Cox to be your primary pass catcher. You can't do that because he's not going to be that guy. But he's a guy that will block anybody, and he'll do a pretty darn good job. And we know how much the Colts like to run the football. So to establish that run, Mo Alie-Cox is far and away the best run blocker, including Tyler Warren, who was a really good run blocker himself, mind you. I think Mo just offers so much there. Now, the receiving upside, he can catch a couple passes, but he's never going to be a high-volume guy. So I think that kind of stuff puts him firmly on a roster. He's never going to be a superstar, but he's always going to be reliable, and he's always going to be available. And those things matter, Derek. You can talk about all the raw talent you want, but what's been the problem with guys like Juju Brents, guys like, Jelani Woods, Anthony Richardson? They're never available. Mm-hmm. That's been the problem. And if you're not available, they're going to move on from you. That's the thing. And if you are available and you're consistent, they're going to keep you around, man.
Yep.
When you're constructing a roster, it's not always about talent necessarily. It's about the guys who do the things you ask them to do.
Yep.
And do it well. And Mo does that. He does that well. For the role you're going to ask him to do as that number 2 tight end, I think he's going to do an excellent job. I really do. And that's why you keep him around. Now, I think the Colts have in the past put too much on his plate and asked him to do too much. Yeah. But I think for the right role, Mo Alley-Cox is just fine and the type of player you want on your roster. I think, Derek, you need a player like Mo Alley-Cox on your roster in some capacity. You need a guy that's going to do a little bit of everything that you need him to do in the role that you ask him to do it. And I think that's been the problem is we've thought Mo in the past. We've thought that Mo needed, more, or the Colts, I guess, have thought Mo needed more opportunities. But I think it's just you like I said, you put him in right situations, he's going to do exactly what you ask him to do. And that's why Mo Alley-Cox is still on this roster.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, folks. He gets it. You're right. It's kind of a great point that Mo didn't need more opportunities. Mo needed to be put in the right circumstances for him to excel. And his best part is his size. He's a very, very good blocker. And he's also a guy that, can make a few catches here and there in the red zone and make things easy for you. Cody, your camera.
Oh my gosh, dude. I freaking hate this camera with a passion.
This guy's camera, it just doesn't.
I gotta work on getting that other cam up.
Yeah, get that Logitech up. Paul Wilson with the $5 super chat. I'm still in shock entering year 9 of Ballard that Daniel Jones is the best that we can do. We need a quarterback, guys, 7 years ago, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, 7 years ago you had Andrew Luck. So I mean, that's kind of the little bit of a oxymoron there for that. But I agree that, since 2020, you've had a lot of opportunities to get the quarterback of your future and you failed to do so. So don't disagree there. Anyways, moving on to the offensive line unit, and we will continue to try to milk this along as much as we can while Cody is trying to work on plugging in that camera.
I can still talk. I'm just working on this.
261 people watching across YouTube and X right now. Please like the stream, guys. It helps the algorithm. It helps it get out to more and more people. So please go and like the stream wherever you're watching and subscribe over here on YouTube if you don't mind. Also, before we get into the offensive line group, I just got to show off my dog because, he has a Indianapolis Colts shirt on today. So, I had to show him off because he's a good boy. You're a good boy, aren't you?
Bad boy.
Yeah. Hey, there it is. Oh, all right.
I'll have to work on that, but
yeah, just make sure your audio is still on the right thing.
Is it on the? Yeah,
I don't know if it's on the Logitech or not.
Nope, it's not. We're good.
Okay, sounds good. I didn't know if it switched it when you switched the camera. Okay, cool. Anyways, let's go to offensive line.
Yeah.
So, as we sit here, the starting offensive line is exactly what you'd expect. You have Bernard Ryman, you have Quentin Nelson, Tanner Bortolini, Matt Gonsalves, and Braden Smith. And then your backups, you have Luke Tenuta, you have Jalen Travis, you have Dalton Tucker, and then you have Danny Pinter. So, Cody, no Wesley French after all. Danny Pinter ends up winning it and keeping it there. So what do you think of the O-line group?
I think that's pretty much exactly like we had a couple debates on Dalton Tucker versus Wesley French, but I think other than that, that's pretty much what we thought, right? Mm-hmm. Like Luke Tenuta, just because Blake Freeland went down with that injury, you needed another tackle, and then obviously Danny Pinter is your backup center. So I feel fine about that, and Dalton Tucker as well at guard. Like I feel okay about that. Like you obviously don't want him to play, but if you need to, maybe who knows? Maybe a year of kind of maturing and growing as a player. Maybe that did him some good, man. He can step in and at least be average for you. So, yeah, I was not shocked at all, to be honest, with pretty much anything that happened here on the offensive line cuts.
All right. Moving over to the defensive side of things now.
Yes.
Cody, they kept 11 defensive linemen. 11. So most teams, you keep 9, you keep 10 at the most. Colts are keeping 11 guys here. And we're going to break it down here. So of course, you have all your starters, Kwity Paye, Laiatu Latu, DeForest Buckner, and Grover Stewart. Then after that, on the edge group, you have Samson Ebukam, you have JT Tuimuluau, and you also have Tyquan Lewis. So they did, in fact, keep 5 defensive ends. And then for your interior backups, you have Adetomiwa that they've kept. They kept Neville Gallimore. They kept Tim Smith and Eric Johnson II. So 6 interior. So Cody,
that's a lot.
How you feel about 11 guys on the defensive line?
I do think that'll change. I do. I feel like we see them do this. Like I think it was last year they had 10 offensive linemen or something. 11's insane by itself, but I do think maybe that that other defensive interior guy, especially because if you make a move here to go sign a couple guys, I think you'll see some movement there. But yeah, I was a little bit shocked they kept that many guys, and for example, they only kept 3 running backs. I'm surprised that they did that at the moment. But I can see that very easily, Derek, changing very quickly. But obviously, we know they like their defense alignment. So it's good to see Tim Smith, though, make that, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen there. I was hopeful that Tim Smith would, because you just frankly need capable backup defensive interior linemen, and you haven't had that in quite some time. Also, your guy, Adetomiwa, I'm glad that he made it, too, because I do think that if he's used properly, maybe he could have a role in this defense in some capacity.
I think that this shows you there is heavy emphasis on depth and packages. I think it really comes down to the Colts are going to move around a lot of guys this year. I think Lou Anarumo has it to where there's going to be some sets where you have 3 defensive linemen and you're trying to go only pass rush, and you could potentially have 4 or 5 guys in there that are defensive linemen that are mainly run stoppers. Sure. I think a lot of it is going to come down to the planning of a defensive scheme for Lou Anarumo, and you're going to see a lot of just guys being interchanged. And I think that could be useful going forward for guys that are trying to keep their, endurance and keep their injuries down as well.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Derek, we saw it last year. If you lose either Grover or DeForest, you didn't have any quality depth last year. You really didn't. You were screwed for a while. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit of depth on defense. Defensive line, it's nice to have that. And also in some other positions, it's nice to feel like, okay, we actually can breathe a little bit. Obviously you want your starters out there, but it's truly, I think when you're going in the trenches, on both sides of the ball, you need, you have 5 starters or whatever, but you need 6, 7, 8 guys that can go in and play at least competently. You need that if you're going to be, a contending team. You need that. So yeah, I was totally okay with, as much depth that you feel like you need right now. I'm good with that. And, so 11 guys is a lot. But hey, you know what? I'm good with it. And I'm sure we'll see some movement there, even if it's just one guy. But I'm all on board, man, for adding as much depth on that line as you possibly can get, because you need really capable players on both sides. You do.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Again, guys, be sure to keep liking the stream, comment, and subscribing. Linebacker group. Cody, they kept 4. That's what I was originally wondering.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm sure you're going to say
injury.
Yeah, so he's not on the roster right now. He's on IR or whatever they're calling it.
Starting the year. Yep, he'll be on the short-term IR.
First 4 games. So really you have 5 linebackers whenever he comes back. right? But as of right now,
unless they cut someone else and then just fill in Carlisle's there.
Right, for sure. But the guys that we expected are making it. They made it. So, I mean, that was just not knowing the extent of the Jalen Carlisle's injury at that point and not knowing and thinking maybe he was going to be back for week 1. But yeah, I think it's wide open right now, Derek, for that linebacker too, to be honest with you. I mean, is it a guy like Joe Bashi, who I think he has had a very, very good camp, has had a very, very good just overall preseason as well. It just seems like he has just continually stood out, making plays. Or is it one of the young guys? Is it a Segun Alubi? Or is it somebody else? I don't know. But yeah, I was that's kind of what I was expecting. I was wondering that just because of the de-emphasis on linebacker this offseason with Lou Anarumo's scheme. That was kind of my thing I was curious about there. So that's kind of what I was thinking there.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. And another thing too, like you said, if we bring 5 when it comes to the linebackers, then yeah, you'd have to cut somebody from the defensive line rotation. You'd absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Just to make space for that. So I would think that when Carlisle gets back, he would likely take somebody's job in there. My guess is McGrone, and end up just taking that and just staying at 4 linebackers. The cornerback room. Now, this is the spiciest of the spice when it comes to this team. We're wondering how this was going to go down. So, Cody, they did keep, in fact, 6 corners. And we saw last night the Colts made that trade to get Mekhi Blackman on this secondary. So that made you definitely feel that he was going to likely make the roster.
Yep.
And so now it stands as Charvarius Ward, Xavier Howard, Kenny Moore, Jalen Jones, Mekhi Blackman, and the most surprising one of all, Jonathan Edwards, making it in on the 53-man roster. So, Cody, I mean, there's a ton of things to go into here. First of all, Juju Brents and Samuel Womack getting waived. I mean, crazy to think, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, man. Gosh, what is it with Ballard in these second-round corners that never work out? It's crazy, man, how that keeps happening. But, yeah, it just goes to show, man, that Lou Anarumo has a type. He has the guys that he wants. I don't know if we've ever seen just a complete, reshaping of an entire group like the cornerback group. I mean, honestly, Derek, outside of Kenny Moore and Jalen Jones, it's an entire new group in there this year. Entire new group. So it ultimately comes down, I think, to the type of corners that Lou wants, type of guys he wants. And also, Derek, we mentioned it earlier, Colts might be signing another corner here soon. Mike Hilton is visiting tomorrow, who obviously we know knows Lou Anarumo very well. He'll be, I mean, talk about needing a backup nickel. I tell you, man, he would be the perfect backup nickel that you need in this defense. And you have so much depth in this cornerback room. That's just crazy how much depth you have. I wish I could say the same for safety, but cornerback, you definitely do. So I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy how many guys you have there. And obviously the Colts love themselves some Jonathan Edwards, like you said. He had a strong preseason. He had a really, really good camp. And I'm excited to see him in action, man. I really am. But I just don't know what it's going to look like. If you sign Mike Hilton, who are you cutting? Is it Jonathan Edwards? Is it somebody else? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Is it Jonathan Edwards? And not to mention, I didn't even mention another guy, Chris Lamons, who also got cut because of these moves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 3 guys that realistically you kind of thought had a good chance of making this roster didn't. And Cody, that's even with Justin Wally going on season-ending IR.
Yeah.
I mean, think of that. I mean, Cody, this is a completely different look for this secondary. And Blake Evans saying $5 super chat. Thank you again, Blake. Why are we trading for an unknown, then waiving Womack. Well, first of all, he's not an unknown. He just ended up having a season-ending injury last year.
2023, yeah. He played well in 2023.
Just didn't end up getting a chance to do much more after that.
Yeah.
Ultimately, guys, when it comes to these moves, Lou Anarumo and Chris Hewitt are doing things the way they want to. They have a scheme fit, and they're getting corners that are scheme fits. I mean, Cody, another reason why Mike Hilton could potentially be here in the future, Mike Hilton is a guy that has an understandability when it comes to Lou Anarumo's defense.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been the big emphasis of this, right? Charvarius Ward, a guy that thrives in any secondary. You obviously have Kenny Moore, who's one of the best at what he does. You obviously bring in Xavier Howard, who has a relationship with Lou Anarumo. You might bring in Mike Hilton, who has an understanding of Lou Anarumo's defense. Mm-hmm. And how they have wanted to attack this. And again, that's why they drafted Justin Wally, because they felt he was going to be best in Lou Anarumo's type of defense. Yeah. And that's really the emphasis here. Cody, the corners last year were Jalen Jones, Samuel Womack, and Kenny Moore. Now it's Charvarius Ward, Kenny Moore, and Xavier Howard. And then you add a potential veteran in Mike Hilton. The Colts are getting veterans in the room that can run Lou Anarumo's complex type of defense. And, I mean, this is either going to crash and burn, or, Cody, we might see the most impressive secondary that the Colts have maybe ever had, honestly.
Yeah. One thing I will add on Mike Hilton, Derek, that I believe somebody said in here is Mike Hilton has some experience at safety with Lou Anarumo as well. He's played some in the box, so, like, he's a versatile player that you could move around in this secondary. And I think that would be huge too, Derek. If we're talking about, hey, we need another quality safety, you have Daniel Scott, who you feel like pretty good about, right? But what about that fourth safety? Could Mike Hilton slot over, play some strong safety or some free safety, and help you out in a pinch? I think he could. And I think that's what is appealing to me about him, Derek, is that he can play multiple positions. And you need that, right, with this defense. So I would love that, to be able to bring in a versatile guy that can play a bunch of different spots. I think that would be huge for you to just have that. But, yeah, you're right. Like, in terms of the secondary, it's completely different, Derek. It's completely different. When you look at this secondary from where it was a year ago, I mean, honestly, look at, like you said, look at your starters from where they were last year to now. It's crazy, the difference. Even your depth guys, it's crazy the difference.
The depth is off the charts.
You had no depth to start last year, and now you have insane amount of depth. It's crazy.
Which is crazy, too, given the amount of injuries that you had sustained to your secondary this offseason, and yet you still have that depth.
You have capable guys,
And you brought up the safety room, which, again, when your safety room right now consists of Cameron Bynum, Nick Cross, who is dealing with an injury, and Daniel Scott, who, again, hasn't played in his first 2 years because he's had back-to-back ACL injuries that have put him at the bottom, and Rodney Thomas, who nobody likes. I mean, that could very well be a case. You could have a situation where Mike Hilton might get some reps in a situation for a Nick Cross if Nick Cross isn't ready for when the season starts. So, yeah, it very well could be a thing. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't think you'd have to pay him a lot of money, which would definitely be a great thing. And again, it's a low-risk, potential high reward because he's a veteran. He knows Lou Anarumo's defense. So,
yeah. No, that's absolutely true. So, yeah, dude, I wonder if you can get back into these guys on the practice squad. You know, like, I'm just so curious because, like, that practice squad would be insane. But you have to think
this practice squad's insane now.
But you have to think that, like, people are going to take a chance on these guys, right? Because they're former high-round picks. So you would think.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And yeah, I don't know how many people can you keep on the practice squad? Is it 12 or 13?
That's a great question. I have honestly never looked at how many you can keep on the practice squad.
Let me look it up.
But the thing with Juju, Derek, it's just a shame is we know the talent's there. It's just the dude hasn't been healthy enough to show it. He just hasn't. He couldn't
An
stay
NFL
healthy.
team can keep 16 players on
16.
their practice squad. So
Got you.
we can keep 16 players. We can definitely keep a lot of them. But you're right. Like when you look at this team, I mean, like we said, Juju Brents likely gets looked at a lot. Samuel Womack definitely gets looked at a lot. Jelani Woods will definitely get looked at a lot. You know, so there is a lot of guys that will definitely have eyes on them and get opportunities in other places for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just part of it is like, you know, if you're wanting a competitive roster, you have to cut good players, right? You just have to. Like, that's just part of it. So, yeah, I would say Derek, also another name that I wouldn't mind. I think he's still available is Von Bell. I wouldn't mind Von Bell at all.
Yeah, I think Von Bell is still available.
He's familiar with Lou Anarumo's scheme. And again, as we kind of look at the, you know, all the different players, we're gonna have to like formulate a list on all the players that we want that got cut from these different teams, because there's a lot of them that I would really like. Wouldn't it be kind of funny if you signed Mike Hilton and then he balls out against the Miami Dolphins who just cut him? That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if you add one or two more pieces into that secondary, specifically at safety, I think you're insane. Your depth is going to be insane, man. I would like Isaiah Simmons. I would not be opposed to that.
That is another good one. And it's one of those signings that makes a lot of sense for a Lou Anarumo defense because he's a hybrid linebacker safety type of thing. So,
yeah. Well, especially because of the injury to Jalen Carlisle, right? I mean, I feel like he can fill a similar role there in terms of the athletic guy that, you know, can cover and do a few things that you want him to do. So, yeah, I would be good with that. I'm curious, Derek, are there any other positions that you'd like to see the Colts potentially look at adding? Like linebacker would be one for me. I wouldn't mind that. Is there any other position that you're like, hey, I'd like for them to maybe add a player here at this position?
Add certain positions. Offensive line is another one for me. I certainly wouldn't mind, you know, because when we're talking about guys like Dalton Tucker, guys like Luke Tenuta, I am not as optimistic when you're talking about the depth of this offensive line. Jalen Travis, I like, and I think he'll be a great swing tackle. But I am not I'm not satisfied with the O-line depth. I would like to see us look to potentially add better depth.
So what about, wasn't there a guy, I don't know how good or bad he is, but the Patriots released a former, I think he was a first-round pick, Cole Strange. Is he any good at all?
Yep.
Is he good? I don't know anything about him.
Is he first-round pick good? No, but if he's
right,
I do believe he could be better than Dalton Tucker, though.
Right. Yeah, I would like to see them add a player or two on the offensive line just for the quality depth, like you said. I mean, I feel like outside of Danny Pinter and Jalen Travis, I would be okay replacing both the other guys. I'd be totally good with that. So I would definitely say that. Excuse me, I would say that. I don't know. I don't know if there's another position. Linebacker, like I said, would be one. Safety would be one that I'd like to see them add somewhere. Even if it's Mike Hilton, can play a little corner and safety, I'd be really happy with that. Maybe a linebacker. Yeah, like Eric Kendricks. I don't know, maybe. Anybody else? I honestly haven't caught up with all the different cuts quite yet, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I haven't been able to keep up with everything, but
yeah, let me just look here. I mean, is there another running back like an Audric Estime from the Denver Broncos? Like, would that be a name that would be of interest at all to you, Derek?
I don't really know. You know, I like the running back room that we have, to be honest with you. I don't really think we need to do much with that room, to be honest.
Yeah. Shy Tuttle, the Carolina Panthers. He was a starter for them the last couple of years. I'm just going down the names here. Isaiah Simmons, we talked about. Mike Hilton, we talked about. Surprising that Greg Dulich got cut. That was a surprise to me. I feel like he's been a reliable guy. He also had preseason lead, 3 touchdown catches. So that's one. Anybody else that comes to mind? And chat, feel free to put it. Feel free to put it in the chat here and let us know anybody that you would potentially talk about as well. I tell you what, man, the Texans are not going to have an offensive line like at all. They just released Trent Brown. I don't know if you saw that one.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. DeMarvin Neal, Dalton Risner, Frank Gore Jr. That's funny. Yeah.
Hey, yo, chat. I got a question. Because I asked Cody about this earlier. So
okay.
It was about fantasy. I gotta bring it up. I gotta get more opinions.
Okay.
So I have the number 1 draft pick in my fantasy this year. It's a 10 team league, and it's PPR. Do I go with Jamar Chase, or do I end up going with a running back like a Bijan Robinson or a Saquon Barkley with that first pick? I would love to hear everyone's opinion on that in the chat. So let me know. Have some fun with it. Because I mean, obviously you can't really go wrong because Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase. He's gonna get fed the rock this year.
Yeah.
And then obviously Bijan Robinson. And my only issue is if I don't pick a running back, then I am going to feel like I won't be able to get an elite running back before my next pick, which is at pick 20. And almost all the running backs will be gone by then.
Let's see what chat says.
Super Pony saying I'd take Jefferson over Chase. That is the boldest statement I could ever hear. You think that Justin Jefferson, who's getting the ball thrown to him from freaking McCarthy, is a better option than Jamar Chase being hand-fed all year long by Joe Burrow? Really? No. Not to mention, on top of the fact, the Bengals are going to have to throw the football a ton this year because their defense is so bad. They're not going to be able to win games if they don't pass the ball 40 times a game.
Which might be also like why you want to do that. It's because they're going to throw it so much.
Right.
That's also a thing.
Like, they're going to throw a lot, and Jamar Chase, even if he gets double teamed, is going to end up being there.
Yeah. McLaurin. It's also about I
didn't argue if Jefferson or Chase, who is better, Jefferson or Chase. I'm arguing for fantasy points, which is better. And I think most people here would agree that Joe Burrow throwing the ball to Jamar Chase on a bad Bengals team is better than JJ McCarthy throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson on a pretty good Vikings team.
Yeah, I would say, and my argument is like you can always get receivers later. Like running backs are such a hot commodity. Like it's a tough argument though. Like the thing with Bijan is like he catches it out of the backfield and he runs it.
Yeah.
So that's part of it for me.
He didn't have less than 20 points, Cody, in his final 9 games last year. He had 20 plus points in every game.
Yeah.
After that. So
yep.
Kind of hard to go off of that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably go running back. That's just me, just because of how much you can get a wide receiver later.
Like I feel I could get Lad McConaughey
Lad McConkey.
next with that next pick. You know, at
Like
around
I don't think you
20.
can go wrong here. I really don't. I think if you get Chase, if you get Saquon, or if you get Bijan, I think you're good. Like I really don't. But I would go running back personally, but that's just me, especially because it is a PPR league, and I think that will just help you out a lot. But
I agree. I think I should do that. So,
but like I guess it's like, okay, Barkley's also had a little bit of an injury history. So do you bet on that, or do you say, hey, look what he did last year? I don't care. He's too talented.
yeah,
So
definitely agree.
yeah. If McCaffrey could stay healthy, he'd be. I mean, later he's worth a shot. You know,
that's just the big problem, right? Bijan Robinson is the only guy, the top running back in fantasy, that hasn't had a injury problem.
right?
Saquon's had one. McCaffrey's had one. You got to go Bijan, Derek. I'm thinking I got to agree with you, man. I feel like I need to agree with you.
Yeah.
I want to look up. Yeah, I want to look up my fantasy. Hold on a second.
That's fair.
I want to look at Bijan Robinson and just kind of look at his numbers from last year. You know, kind of want to see what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah.
So based on how my league does it, Cody, I think my Chase has our numbers wildly amped. Last year, his worst game was 20 points based on the point system that he has.
Yeah.
So his worst game was 20.
Dang.
So that's tough, man. That's hard to turn away from there. I mean, even Jamar had worse games. I mean, Jamar had 4 games last year where he didn't even hit 20. So I'm probably going Bijan. I'm probably going Bijan. I just feel like I have to.
I don't think you can miss here. I really don't.
Where would you take Warren, Derek? Probably not until at least round 8 or 9. I honest to God, that'd be the earliest.
Yeah. Well, you don't have a lot of Colts fans in yours, so they won't get probably overdrafted.
Yeah.
But
well,
he's probably going to get the rock a lot. So, I mean, can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I mean, we'll see on the Mike Hilton thing. Again, I know he's a little bit older, but Derek, if he can even play, I mean, you're not going to rely on him to start. So just from a depth standpoint, I'm all right with that. No, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised by a couple moves, but also, I mean, pretty expected for the most part outside of, I think Brent's was the big one. And other than that, I wasn't too surprised anywhere else, to be honest with you.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let us know your thoughts on this final 53-man roster. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us and chilling. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. And as always,